let's run now to the next segment, and that is headlines across Africa. Don't go away.
Headlines across Africa.
Headlines across Africa.
Headlines across Africa.
Headlines across Africa.
So today we're going to Mauritius, Sierra Leone, and Djibouti, and we're starting from Mauritius.
Okay.
We're reading from the Le Express newspaper, and the headline says, ICT authorities' proposal to monitor the internet in a nutshell.
Okay.
The Information and Communication Technologies Authority, ICTA, invites the public to comment on a consultation paper on amendments to the ICT Act, which the authority proposes in order to regulate social media in Mauritius. I read the consultation paper, and in my humble opinion, the authors of the paper could not define the problem they want to address. Now, in section 3.1, they mention incidents that happened in Myanmar and India based on rumors on WhatsApp and Facebook. Relating issues in Mauritius, the authors mention in section 3.3 that we, which are assumed to be the law enforcement officers, face a language barrier when reporting offensive and abusive content posted in Creole. They mentioned that the majority in the cases complaints made by local authorities to the social media administrators remain unattended or are not addressed in a timely manner. It is unclear whom the authors are calling social media administrators, whether administrators of individual groups, pages on social media platforms, or the operators of the service. There is no mention of any specific case that disturbed social media harmony and where social media companies did not collaborate or were slow to respond to the request of local authorities. Well, there's a story coming from the Le Express newspaper in Mauritius, and now we're moving on to Sierra Leone, where the story actually happens to be about Gambia. And we're reading from the Sierra Leone Telegraph. And the headline says, Gambian government must act now to stop environmental destruction in Gunjur.
Okay.
The perilous activities of Chinese fish meal factories in the coastal towns of the Gambia, such as Gunjur, are causing extreme and irreparable damage to the environment, as well as destroying the lives and livelihoods of local people and their communities. Not only are they emitting untreated industrial waste into the ocean, in landfills and local lagoons, but the stench from the factories is unbearable for local people, with tremendous health hazards. Well, because of China's hidden strategy to nationalize our resources to feed its insatiable appetite for economic development, fish meal factory owners in the Gambia are paying pittance to those in authority through bribery and corruption in order to achieve their grand strategy of taking control of Gambia's potential export quotas. As overseas, business interests and attractive global prices for fish meal drive higher demand, a crucial source of protein is being taken away from the plates of the poorest Gambians while leaving many in the communities out of work. Today, jet-setting Chinese businessmen arriving in ever greater numbers in the Gambia are exploiting our resources with no regard for the damage they are inflicting on the local environment, our health, local employment, food security, the ecotourism economy, and the community security. Now, I spent my formative years enjoying healthy symbiotic relationship with our leafy forest covers, white sandy coastlines, shoreline, sand dunes, and a lagoon, which was once a lush habitat for remarkable wildlife. Now, to a child, these were wonderful things that bloomed in their heads. The coastline and the surrounding were our national parks and playgrounds, and we used to play football there. But the unchecked destruction of our environment by the commercial sand miners and Chinese fish meal factories have stripped the ecosystem of much loved once beauty of Gunjur. Now, the Chinese fish meal processing factories emit unknown industrial chemical waste into the sea. The beach is now mostly covered in reeking fish carcasses, which is brought by fishermen to the fish meal factory. And at times, there is oversupply of fish, and the factory in Gunjur cannot take it all. The fishermen, mostly coming from Senegal, would dump the unwanted fish stock into the sea, which is then washed onto the beaches.
Okay.
We hope the government will be able to do something about this.
Yeah, this sounds familiar to our base Ghana. What's happening here? Some dolphins and some fish, species have been washed ashore as well. So it may be that, some illegal engagements is actually ongoing. We pray that doesn't happen. Of course, with the watch of whoever it is that is responsible for making sure that people do not exploit, hence damaging the water bodies. Okay,
Well,
well,
finally, we're moving to Djibouti, where we're reading from the La Nation newspaper. And the headline says, Towards building the capacity of Djiboutian media professionals. The Union of Francophone Press of Djibouti, UPF Djibouti, with support from UNESCO, is organizing a series of training workshops for Djiboutian journalists, focusing on the ethics of journalism, gender and media, new media and ICT for the practice of journalism. These workshops are organized as part of UNESCO's contribution to media empowerment and as part of its effort to develop plurality and diversity in the media through the International Program for the Development of Communication, IPDC. Now, these workshops are part of the building capacity of Djibouti's media professionals. They aim to improve training and supervision of young journalists when they enter the profession. Better involve experienced journalists in training and mentoring new people. Strengthening and multiplying workshops and training sessions of this type are one of the objectives of the UPF Djibouti, which has been working in the field in recent years to better equip Djiboutian media professionals. These trainings will be provided by consultants who are specialized in these respective fields and who have a long experience. Now, each workshop will see the participation of 20 representatives of the various Djiboutian media. Well, that's a story coming from the La Nation newspaper in Djibouti.
okay. That brings us to the end of Headlines Across Africa.
Yes.